for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll start with the superintendent's report.
Good evening, everybody. If I can get some members up here from the Scottish Rites Mason, we just bring y'all up and get started, so. And then we have a little proclamation. Who wants to go up there?
We're all going to go down.
Okay.
Yeah. We're all going
Y'all
down.
want me to go and I can read it?
Yay.
Everybody's going to go down.
Right here up front. Come to the principal's office, right there. Come right there. How are you, Mike Cardona? Thank you. Oh, thank you. All right. There we go. So for those of y'all who don't know, the Scottish Rite Masons, an appendant of the Freemasonry, began supporting our dyslexia programs last year. Through quarterly grants the district has received a combined total of $11,163. These funds have supported the dyslexia program in a variety of professional development, testing and reading materials, and technology to include iPads. Delegates here tonight are John Tolbert, Mr. Northcutt, Steve Kahn, Dr. Northcutt, my apologies. And we want to thank them for everything they do for the children of San Marcos CISD. Now, a couple of y'all are going to. Now, I think y'all are all going to stay up here again, aren't you?
Oh, yes.
No, I think they're going to stay up here.
Don't quiz me on it today.
Now, are y'all going to stay up here for the next one? Are you part of the next one? Yes, Dr. Northcutt is going to stay up here. You thought you were going to the principal's office, huh? Bring them up. So if I could get some members from the Masonic Lodge, 342. Come on. Wow. Oh, I better call him doctor. So just a bit about the Masonic Lodge 342. Members of the San Marcos Masonic Lodge 342 have been ardent supporters of San Marcos CISD for many years. They present certified flags that have flown over the U.S. Capitol during the fall, usually around Veterans Day, to each elementary school, and present flags that have flown over the Texas Capitol each spring to those schools in commemoration of Texas Independence Day and Texas Public Schools Week. In fact, we have the Masonic Lodges of Texas to thank for Texas Public Schools Week, as they worked to establish that designation in 1950, and it continues to this day. In addition, the San Marcos Masonic Lodge annually presents the Lamar Medals and scholarships to deserving San Marcos High School students, and has for several years participated in the fantastic teeth program that provides dental care kits to all SMCISD first graders. We want to thank them for their support and service to the children of San Marcos CISD. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you all very much. Those are made by our kids, our career technology kids. So. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Again. Thank you again. They want to know how they make the sign.
They do. We can bring them up to the school.
It's a secret. It's a secret. Is she there yet? I don't see her.
Let's see her. We might need to stop and go to.
If she comes.
We have one other award, and when that time comes, we'll stop. If the board president and the other members, if with their approval, we can stop. But we'll go ahead and continue on with our agenda.
Was that it?
You're it, boss.
Okay. We're moving on to number, do we don't have anybody for public forum? Okay, that's 4. And number 5, reports, information items, quarterly investment report.
In your report is the quarterly investment report for the second quarter. As you can see, general fund, for the second quarter, we earned interest of $80,528. We are way above our allocated, what we think we're double the amount that we thought that we were going to be all year. So this is good news for the district as interest rates keep increasing. So if anyone has any questions over the investment report?
Questions, anyone?
Next item is the financial report for March. I know we kind of already went over this in Saturday's workshop, but if anyone has any questions over the March financial, or actually this is February, not March. So for February. Sorry.
Questions, anyone?
Any questions? Okay.
Update on portables.
Last month, we talked about portable classrooms, and y'all had some questions regarding that. So I put together a little bit of a PowerPoint. I think y'all have already received that, but there was it was kind of interesting to me. The Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation now calls them relocatable educational facilities, which I thought was kind of interesting. So I put that on the first slide. The logistics we talked about last month, and I wanted some more information on, was a timeline, permitting through the city, cost, and location. We'll start with the timeline. I put together this slide. It shows from the time you approve the project until the time we got a certificate of occupation would be probably about 12-week timeline. As you can see, there's lots of things that'll go into that 12 weeks. You know, we'd have to decide colors and that kind of thing, and then there'd be a lot of things that go into that. With that said, of course, summer is a busy time for the portable people. So I believe if we were going to try to do this, we would need to do it probably next board meeting, make a decision that we're going to put one in. Of course, the 12 weeks is without any unforeseen delays, which we all know in construction there can often be delays. And of course, after that, we would still have to install the furniture, fixtures, and equipment and get the classroom ready and have it ready for a teacher to set up. So if you approved it next board meeting, that would be mid-April, mid to late July, we'd get it set up. By the time we got a teacher in there, it'd just be just about the right time for school to start. On permitting, the portable classroom regulations, or the through TDLR, they do allow the buildings to be inspected at the facility where they're built. And you can see these are the codes that they follow. And they have a third-party person that comes in, does the inspections, and I've spoken with the city, and they do accept these inspections. Of course, there would still be some site permitting that would be necessary. Of course, possibly on the soil condition, depending if we had to go in and build a pad. The city might want to might need some permits on that for certain, on the water, sewer, electrical, all that kind of stuff. And of course, on a building final. Once everything is hooked in there, the building has to be inspected by the city to give us a certificate of occupancy. So that's the permitting requirements. On the cost, I'm sorry, that's a little smaller than I thought it would be. The first two columns show a lease cost, a 2-year lease cost at the top for the building. I'm not sure that was in the presentation you received.
We don't have that slide.
Okay. You have this slide, just not with the lease cost.
No.
And, okay,
We
you
have
can see the
estimated
lease
cost.
cost for a double classroom is about 16,800. I can read it myself. Is that a 3 or an 8? Anyway, that's a 2-year lease. It's about $700 a month for a double. For a single, it's about $13,000 for 2 years.
You said
And
it was a 2-year lease?
I did a 2-year. The one guy I talked to about a single, he told me they probably wouldn't rent a single. He said, even if you ask for a single, we're going to bring you a double, because he said, we just don't have any singles to lease. But he did give me a cost of $595 a month for a single and $700 for a double. So on the cost of purchase for a double, as you can see, it's about $56,000 and about $30,000 for a single. Overall cost, by the time they get it here, and then you have ramps and landings built, transport and delivery, leveled everything, the site permits, adding electrical power, water, sewer, all that stuff. You can see the cost is somewhere in the mid 140s for a double, somewhere a little over 100,000 for a single. And of course, these are just estimates, but we did talk to 3 different vendors and tried to get legitimate cost on that and on the hookups and what it would take to get that done. So, do you have any questions on those costs? Yes, ma'am.
What are the classroom capacities for the single and the double?
For the,
The single, how many
Single or the
seats?
double?
well, I guess it would be whatever 20 to 25 kids in each side.
Okay.
I mean, they're a, I guess, TEA size classroom.
Okay.
And there would be 2 in a double and 1 in a single. And these do include restrooms. Of course, that's why I did water and sewer.
So on a double, I guess it would be divided, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am,
there
it would be
a pa-
divided
to
by a
where
wall.
one classroom on one side.
Right,
and
and each classroom would have a restroom in it. I should have
that-
given you,
we would have to set up the plumbing for all that, is that
Yes,
correct?
ma'am. yes. I mean, each classroom would have a single restroom. It wouldn't have a boys and a girls. It would just have one
Oh,
single
just a
restroom.
single, not designated for boys or girls?
No, it'd be a unisex bathroom, one bathroom.
Just one?
In each, one in each
For
classroom.
For each classroom.
This next slide is a topographic view of Crockett Elementary. And
That's Crockett.
actually, it's a drainage plan, but it shows the topographic lines. And as you can tell, I'm sure most of you are familiar with, the closer the lines, the steeper the grade. So as you can tell, it's most of that land around that campus is pretty steep. This next picture you'll like, that's a picture of the October flooding at Travis in 2015.
This is Travis.
As you can see, there's not much dry land around that. There is a place right there, and there is a little place right here that's dry. Most of it is covered with water. This is a layout of Travis Elementary that shows utility. The sewer is in the orange, the water line is the blue, the green is power, and the purple is data and communications coming to the campus. So with that said, in the one spot that we looked that was dry, that would be a possibility is right here, to put a portable right there. One bad thing about that, at least in my opinion, would be Aesthetically, that'd be the first thing you see when you drive in the main parking lot,
Where did you say it would be?
right there where that green.
Right when you go
spot is,
in.
Oh, okay, sorry.
right there.
Wow.
That would be the best for water and sewer. Of course, we would have to get power around there. Previously, on the Travis campus, when they were building it, I believe y'all put some portables there. That was prior to me working here, but there was some portables right out in this area, and they ran power off this road. So, there's a power line along this road, so I believe we might could add power here. Oh, that's Travis. Crockett, as you can see, everything was very steep. The water comes in the front. Data communications come in this side. That's the power coming in right here on the green, and this is the sewer. So honestly, I don't know where you'd put one there. I really don't. Without some major dirt work.
Is the space between the teacher parking lot and that rear entry that
In here?
you absolutely have to be to by 7:45? No, for a little further up, right there, and over to that direction a little bit. Is that sufficient to accommodate? No, you're not quite on it.
Where
It's
the
where there's
orange-
those like empty planter box things,
Okay.
right by the back door.
Back,
Right
Right
there.
right there.
Is that a large enough space?
I don't think so,
Okay.
because the city did say we would have to be, I believe, 20 feet off the building.
Oh, then it's not.
That's not.
Okay.
There is a requirement there from the fire marshal. They didn't believe they would require it to be sprinkled, but they did, there would be a required space in between the two buildings, and I believe he told me 20 feet.
And where's the space that you said it would go if we,
I did.
oh, we haven't. You haven't decided? Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I do think y'all may be aware of this, but the Travis and Crockett principals, along with the TLA department, have been working with Mr. Cardona, and together they've generated some viable and financially feasible options to temporarily absorb the space to relieve our current overcrowding at these two campuses. If you have any further questions for me about the presentation, I'll be glad to answer them. If not, Mrs. Reese Mills will. Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Cardona, are we just looking at both, just Travis and Crockett for possible, at this point in time, if necessary, portables for
Correct.
these two locations?
I may have been mistaken, but that's what I thought y'all asked
Yeah.
for last board meeting, but I could be mistaken. But I can certainly look at other
Travis in
areas if you want.
particular because of the 10, but Crockett also.
Thank you.
At the last board meeting, we were charged with looking at some different options on the campuses. And so Ms. Dre walked the campuses with a map, and we've been on there at Travis with the help of Ms. Kanicki. There are 4 viable options potentially. We could take the book room, disseminate the materials in the book room into other classrooms, and we could house a smaller class in there that could hold approximately 15 students. The computer lab, we could house a class in there with 22 students. We could also take the science lab, which Ms. Kanicki has already moved 2 bilingual classrooms in there, and they've divided it up, but that feasibly holds 22 students. We could take the music room, but then we'd have to move the music classes onto the stage, which are housed in the cafeteria. Those are just viable options that we could do looking for next year. At Crockett, the same thing, we would use a computer lab, a science lab, and a music room. What we could do there at both of those campuses is we researched getting small science lab carts that come equipped with a sink that we could rotate in and out through the different grade levels. We would need approximately 5 of those. Kindergarten, first grade could share, and then we could get one for second, third, fourth, and fifth. They're $2,000 a piece, which would be $10,000 per campus, so that would be a total of $20,000, and we could create the lessons, bring them into the classroom, be more interactive, and filter them in and out. So those would be possible solutions for the upcoming year. Okay, thank you.
Any questions?
It's kind of like which one is the worst of the two evils.
Different scenarios. Okay. Approval of consent item, agenda items, approval of minutes for special call board meeting on February 13th, 2017, regular scheduled board meeting on February 20th, 2017, and special call board meeting on March 6th.
I would like to pull the February 20th meeting.
Pull A, yeah, because I want to look at February 13th.
Oh, okay. Pull A.
Pull February 13th,
Just pull A.
the whole thing. Okay. So,
So do we have a B?
I move that.
Oh.
Do we have-
motion? I'm ready for motion.
Do we have a B?
Yeah, we have it.
There's a B.
Yes.
Oh,
I
okay.
move that we approve consent agenda item B, personnel action.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? 6-0. Items for action, consider,
We need to look at A.
you're gonna go back to work on A, okay.
Looking at the February 13 minutes, you have a
A handout.
handout, but I would like to add back in the vote on calling the question,
Mhm.
because the way it reads is that, it says a vote was taken, that to me infers it was about calling the question, where we had a separate vote for that. So I would like to add that part back in, because the vote that's listed there is for the motion.
Right.
Is that okay to
That's fine.
It's good.
add that back in?
Any problem? We're good. So then we're gonna
So
go,
as it was originally disseminated?
No, it still didn't have it in
Still,
there.
okay.
so then we're gonna go back and look at approving the minutes with corrections.
Right, and then she wants,
Well, if
Ms.
we'll do
Villalpando?
it separate, because I wasn't here on the 20th, I'd like to abstain for that, so that I can vote okay on everything else.
Okay, so we're ready to,
okay, then I move that we approve the minutes on February 13 with correction as discussed, and March 6.
okay.
Second.
Further discussion. All in favor? 6-0. So that's 2 of them.
And then, no,
And I move that we approve the minutes on February 20th.
Do I hear a second? Second, any further discussion? All in favor?
I will abstain.
5, and 1 abstention. Ready for items for action, consider approval of budget amendments. You don't have any?
Yeah, there's
Yes.
No?
I
Motion?
move that we approve the budget amendments.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Villalpando. Any discussion? All in favor? 7.
Did want to ask one question, and maybe I can ask Mr. Cardona afterwards. That's fine, that's not a problem.
Thank you. 7-0. Going into closed session is authorized by Section 551071 and 551074, Texas Government Code. Do y'all need me to read each one of these, or can we just go on into executive session?
Please read them.
Okay. Discussion regarding the renewal and extension of administrators' contracts. Discussion regarding the position of Executive Director of Communications and Community Relations. Discussion regarding TEA docket number 059 LH0220-2017 and termination of James Maxwell's term employment contract. Consultation with legal counsel regarding facility usage waiver for Smart Orchestra. Consultation with legal counsel regarding pre-K Bonham facility remediation work and legal issues associated thereto. Ready to go into session. Item C. Motion.
I move to finalize the term contract termination of James Maxwell, effective today, March 27th, 2017.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Ms. Costilla seconds. All in favor? 7-0. D has been tabled for a May meeting, and E is no action.
Second. Did you guys
Have
have
a-
Oh, okay.
A motion to adjourn, seconded by Mr. Arredondo. John motioned. All in favor? 7-0. Meeting adjourned.
Enough, guys. That was record time. Executive session more often, apparently.